Hello, everybody. Today is Wednesday, October 11th. It's a rising day, 10/11. It's supposed to be like good luck rising. And, they say that Christopher Columbus discovered America. And my second wife, Mariana Carvalho, she used to make a joke and she'd say, I'm like Christopher Columbus. I don't know what you're talking about. But I made a discovery yesterday that the reason why they don't want to give me brand name Bactrum and they keep giving me this generic, and they gave me the brand name once, so I know it works well because I received it once. I received it because I went to this urgent care on Robertson, sort of like Robert Mueller, Robertson. And so if you want anything done good without people trying to sabotage your ride, you got to go to Robertson. That's the only street that I trust in the entire Los Angeles is Robertson, because you have half a chance of getting what you want without sabotage. And I did get the real Bactrum once, and then they're giving me generics, sulfamucil-E-temp. I told you about that, from Aurobindo, from Sun Pharmaceuticals, from Amiol, from basically it's GlaxoSmithKline Beecham, and the GlaxoSmithKline, and I have a lawsuit against the Darienzo, which is Kevin McCarthy, and Kevin McCarthy's been booted out. Is Adam Mazza, is Steve Klein, is Calvin Klein, like the clothes designer, and his other name, Klein, is Steve Klein, and he's part of the Glaxo Steve Klein Beecham. And so the moral of the story here is that he's related to Gavin Newsom, and Gavin Newsom's son, Robert Givers, is the owner of Genesis Consulting, Genesis Computer Systems, and Genesis is implementing the infrastructure for California medical records, for California courts with Journal Technologies, for California General Ledger, for California DPSS. So they're able to hack the California computer systems because Robert Givers, who's married to Elizabeth Darienzo, who stole my father's will at TD Ameritrade, made it look like it was Eric Trump, but it was really Mike Pence, believe it or not, and Warren Buffett. And so I found out the evidence of the discovery that I made yesterday is that the U.S. Attorney arrested Perfectus Aluminum. And if you look at the owners of Perfectus Aluminum, they're the same owners of the Down and Out Bar on Spring Street in downtown Los Angeles on Skid Row. And you find out that Gavin Newsom is the owner of the Down and Out Bar, and Gavin Newsom is the owner of Perfectus Aluminum, and Gavin Newsom is the owner of the holding company called CT Corporation System, and he's doing it through his son, he's doing it through Robert Givers, and he's doing it through his wife, Aaron Kunkel, because he belongs to the First Presbyterian Church of Oakland, and there is an Aaron and a Brett, and this Aaron is really Abigail O'Brien, and Abigail O'Brien is really Aaron Kunkel. And if you look at the list of Perfectus Aluminum of the owners, there is a Aaron, I think it's called Aaron Sanders. Aaron Sanders is really Aaron Kunkel, who's married to Thomas Kunkel, and there's like various Thomas Kunkel. There's a Thomas Kunkel of the U.S. Census Bureau who hacked the districts in the U.S. Census Bureau so that Gavin Newsom can win the elections with elections interference, because they made it look like there's a lot of people in this district and there's not so many people in this district, so they hacked the U.S. Census Bureau so he can get elected. And then they had people come in from Florida and South America, which is elections interference, which is what Robert Mueller was talking about with the Russian voting interference. But now what you got going on is that you have the district attorney, which is Laura Jane Kessner, and also Kessner and Jesner, Samantha Jesner, and also Laura Jane Kessner is related to Aaron Kunkel, who's related to Santa Monica Courthouse, Abigail O'Brien, and Newsom was married to Abigail O'Brien, who's also married to Aaron Kunkel. And so, Newsom is promoting this Genesis Computer Systems, and what I have discovered is that the CVS pharmacies, they're going by the NDC number and they're going by the CDC number, when the new one is the NDC, and also the application number of the drug, whether it's Arabinda or some pharmaceuticals. And this Robert Gevers, he made it look like the Russians or somebody or the Chinese hacked the California computer systems, and they put a release of data breach. They call it data breach. And what I discovered is that the data breach is not really a data breach. What my assumption is that Robert Gevers has a developer's workstation, because, I'm a senior developer, I'm a senior software developer, and I'm like the best computer programmer around. I'm triple PhD ninja computer programmer. I'm a much better computer programmer than I am an attorney. But I'm telling you, and also singer, but I'm telling you is that I think Robert Gevers used his development workstation to basically have a development server, and then it gets promoted to quality assurance, which is user acceptance testing. It's called the waterfall methodology. User acceptance testing, and then QA, and then production database, right? So what I think happened is that this Robert Gevers, or one of his programmers, allowed his developer's workstation to be hacked. And then they changed the NDC codes so that instead of getting brand name Bactrim, you're getting cephalexin, or you're getting doxycycline, or you're getting, like double strength, which is like tetanus shots, like a box full of like 20 pills of tetanus shots that is like night at the museum, each one. It'll just kill you one, and they put like 20 of them in there. If you have any aneurysms or blood clots, they'll explode and you'll die. If you have a heart problem, you'll get a heart attack because you're getting the wrong medicine. And the reason, the way that they did this is that I think this Robert Gevers, or one of his programmers at Genesis Consulting, that Newsom poured in, like he says he poured in like 500,000. It's more like 500 million, the money that he put in there. And also, not to mention the money that he's giving to the U.S. Census Bureau and Aaron Kunkel. And also, I found out that the other owner is Albert Datoli from Upper Saddle River, New Jersey, who is implementing septic tanks to put crack cocaine and meth in septic tanks, and also in new construction developments. And the other thing that I found out is that the owner, Alberto Diamante is really Jamie Dimon of City National Bank. And this Jamie Dimon with his wife, Judith Myers of KPMG, Ernst & Young, Capgemini, they hacked Sarbanes-Oxley auditing, SOX. They hacked the general ledger, so they with Grant Thornton, Norman Grant, and KPMG San Francisco, and they hacked the SOX auditing. So if you go to the general ledger, it's hacked. If you go to hospital NDC, and basically I think what happened is that this Robert Gevers allowed his computer system to be hacked, because a database has referential integrity, and it has referential constraints. So I think like he deliberately intentionally took out all the constraints to his development workstations and allowed his computer to be hacked. And they imported all of the NDC codes, which are like fraud NDC codes, which switches the brand name Bactrim to generic doxycycline or generic tetanus in a bottle, which is even worse, or gives you aneurysm. And then they promoted this to UAT, and they promoted this to QA and production. And eventually, when it made it into production with this hacked data that has all fraudulent NDC codes, made it into CVS. And now when you go to CVS and you give them the NDC number and you give them the application number, they're not really committing a crime, because it's their database that's corrupted. Their database is corrupted by Robert Gevers and Genesis Consulting, and ultimately it's corrupted by Gavin Newsom. Not even to mention that he did the same thing with the AUKUS. He stole so much money from the California EDD unemployment insurance, and all this money that he robbed, he put into nuclear submarines that he gave to Australia, and the Chancellor of Australia saying, we don't know if we're going to defend the United States, because our main priority is to defend China, So thanks a lot, Gavin Newsom. You just took all my unemployment insurance money. And thanks a lot, what's his name, Eduardo Garcia, who is giving unemployment insurance to migrant workers and illegal immigrants. Thanks a lot for being the Mexican, the occult from the Mexican ring. And thanks a lot for taking my unemployment insurance, a United States citizen, and giving it to illegal immigrants. And also, thanks a lot, Gavin Newsom, for taking my unemployment insurance and creating AUKUS nuclear submarines and giving it to Australia. Thanks a lot.